Hi. Believe it or not, I actually was able to remember 10 more sources of childhood nightmare fuel. So, here is my list, my second top 10 list of childhood nightmare fuel moments. Let me see, sorry. Number 1, the Iguana Cantina iguana. When I was in middle school and high school, there used to be a restaurant which was like Caribbean, called the Iguana Cantina where I lived. As soon as you went into the restaurant, right before you headed in the door, above you was this really creepy animatronic iguana who just said hi to you out of nowhere. It was totally unexpected, so that was creepy. Let me see. Number 2, the Evil Dead 2 skeleton. On the box of the Evil Dead Part 2 video, there's this really creepy picture of a skeleton face with eyes. That always terrified me whenever I saw it in the video store when I was younger. So, number 3. This has been talked about a lot, but yes, I was scared of the Willy Wonka nightmare boat ride. You don't really need to say anything more about that because there's tons of videos and tons of stuff on the internet about that sequence. Okay, number 4. The Kangaroos song from, actually instrumental from Carnival of the Animals. Carnival of the Animals is this pretty cool collection of classical music pieces that represent different animals by Saint-Saëns. And I'm not scared of this anymore, and now I love this, but as a kid, I found the kangaroo section to be kind of creepy. It's supposed to represent kangaroos like Kanga and Roo hopping up and down the stairs, but the way they do it is like just this like piano music that's in minor key and sounds like it's creeping up on you. Yeah, it kind of creeps me out still in a way, but it doesn't bother me that much anymore. Number 5. The Secret of NIMH experiment sequence. This has been talked about a lot also on YouTube and all over the internet, which is where the rats are trapped at NIMH and they inject them with that substance that eventually makes them really intelligent. Yeah, but when it shows them being injected with it and this weird, surreal animated sequence and creepy music that's supposed to represent the neurons in their brain evolving, yeah, that's very scary. Weird noise-making batons. I can't even remember numbering, so this is on my phone, so I'm just not going to number it. So, but it is 10 nightmare fuel-inducing moments from my childhood. These weird noise-making batons, I've noticed them in the 90s. I don't even know what they are, but there were these like long baton-like toys that you would tip them over, on the other side, and they would make this weird, creepy noise like meow. I can't even say it, I can't even make that noise and match the creepiness of the actual noise. But it made that noise whenever you flipped it one way or the other. Yeah, I wonder what was the point of those. The slush puppy. Now in the 80s, there used to be the mascot that was on the slush puppy that was, this giant fake slush cup that was spinning around on the slush puppy machine. For some reason, the slush puppy's eyes on that were really, they were creepy, they would stare at you, and as that puppy was spinning around in the convenience store, yeah, that creeped me out. I don't know if the slush puppy today is as creepy, probably not, they probably toned it down, and as you know, I've said I love corporate animal mascots, so I'm not scared of that puppy anymore. Yeah, but in the 80s where they had that puppy's eyes looking at you as it spun around, yeah, kind of creepy. Old fire alarms and walk signals. Back in the 80s and before I was born in the 70s, fire alarms in schools and walk signals were infamous for having creepy sounds that sounded like they came from hell. So, I'm wondering if it had to do with 70s synthesizers, the same thing that made some disco music like Ring My Bell and Sesame Street disco music such as Funky Chimes and the Monster Disco songs kind of creepy for the same reason. So, One of those of that's interesting to note is in Amherst, which is in the Pioneer Valley, which I really hope to move to in a few years. When I did live there for almost a year when I was 5, and when I was there, I noticed that there was these walk signals. This one particular set of walk signals would make this like really creepy buzzing sound, and I kept hearing it was so blind people could see. It was so blind people could hear and know when it's time to walk, so they don't get run over. Yes, but you don't have to traumatize them just because they're blind. I'd say that's ableism right there. Yeah, you want them to be able to know when to walk and when not to, and to not get hit by cars. But two wrongs don't make a right. I added a little neurodiversity activism there. So yeah, don't traumatize somebody with a sound. So most people have realized that that's not the best idea. So as of now, today, most walk signals either make Tweety bird sounds, or they say, I don't even know if they even have the Tweety bird sounds. Now they just usually say, there's a automated voice saying don't walk or walk, or like walk signal is right, says you can walk. Stuff like that. Actually, so it was like when it was time to walk, it would make the noise. And then when it's not time to walk, it doesn't. Now, yeah, I know that. So, yeah, but back in 2000, when I briefly visited Amherst again, I noticed, actually it was 2001, I noticed that walk signal still had that very creepy buzzing sound. I'm wondering if it's still there, and but given that it lasted all the way into 2001, I'm wondering if they kept it up, because there are a lot of hippies and stoners. Not everybody is that way, but there are a lot of hippies, and yes, some of them do use different drugs in the Pioneer Valley, so I'm wondering if they had kept that creepy buzzing walk signal up because so many stoners love to hear it in their drug trips. I don't know. Candy Rain. There's this R&B song back in 1995 called Candy Rain, where it was sung in minor key with these people with weird screechy voices, as they sing, my love, do you ever dream of candy-coated raindrops? Something like that. But I've always had something like, some of the things I've always been afraid of would have been eyes, scenes that resemble hell with fire and lava and red glare. By eyes, I meant googly eyes, or popped out eyes, creepily staring right into your soul, and also a lot of stuff that's in minor key. Not always, but sometimes minor key is beautiful, sometimes it can be sad, but a lot of the music that's creeped me out, it has to do with the fact that the keys are minor. So, yeah. So, last but not least, Drug Pusher Kid magazine PSA. I remember in the mid-90s, I saw this magazine once. I don't remember what it is. I think it was the back of the magazine cover that had this anti-drug PSA of several children, and it said there, guess which. You can't guess just by looking which of these kids is a drug pusher, but one of them is, or something like that. Apparently, there were these children playing, and they looked so innocent, but one of them, according to the ad, was a drug pusher, but they didn't tell you which one it was. Another thing that I've always been freaked out by is the unreveal, as TV Tropes calls it, where you don't know, they tell you that there's something creepy, but they never tell you what it is. That has always scared me. So, yeah, so, I have no idea which of those kids was the drug pusher because they didn't tell you. But yeah, that's pretty creepy. So there's my list for now. Maybe in the future I'll find more and do a third list. So, see you guys later.